Hey there again, everyone. I'm just going to go through another quick example on how we're going to do our arrays now. So, I've just got a very similar one to the one we've done in loops. I won't go through that again. I will quickly, however, rename my window here. So I'll click my window, and I'll just call this one, name arrays. So again, I'm going to open up a new window here with my view controller, and then I'll just drag everything over quickly now. So I have my text view. So I'll say this txv. I'll just say name. I'll have my scrollable text view over here, which I will make sure I've used this one here. And I'll call this one stv name list, like so. And then I'll add my button. I'll code in just a moment. And then make sure that's an action. Then I'll call this btn add name. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. Give myself a little bit of room. Really nice and easy to code when you have lots of room to be able to see everything. So I'll call this one my input. I'll call this one my output. And I'll write this as a function. I'm going to go ahead and say that this function is going to add a new name to an array. Then display the list in the scrollable text view. That way I know exactly what this is going to do when I keep going back. Now, one thing I am going to do here as well, let's have some room, is I'm going to make what's known as a global variable. So a global variable is simply something that is going to be accessible to every single thing within this program. So I will be able to see every single thing within this program every single time we keep it running. So even if this function is completed, everything will still be stored here afterwards. So remains stored and used while the program is running. Now, within my global variable, I'm going to make an array here. So this array is going to be of names. So when we're going ahead and declaring an array, we can declare it like we would a normal variable. Now I'm going to give it my name here to say whether it's a variable or whether it's a constant. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it a name. So I might write names list even. Names list. Now, big important thing is once we have this here, we need to give it these square brackets. So these square brackets here indicate that it is going to be an array. With this array given, I need to state what kind of array this is going to be, or what the array is going to hold. So I'm going to make sure that's holding string values. So that way I've got a list of names and only string values can go in this. I'm going to make it equals to, and I'm just going to say it's just going to be blank for now. So that way we just start off nice and blank. So now I want to have a look through here and see what we're going to do. So add a new name to an array, then display the list in a scrollable text view. So I need to get my name first. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a constant here. I'm going to call it new name. Have that as a string because it has to be a string to be able to go into my names list. And then I'm going to make that equal to the txt name string that someone is going to put in. At this point, now that I've got this, I now need to add it to my array. So if I go to names list, like so, I'm going to say from my list of names, I can put a dot here. And that dot is just going to look at all the different things that this array can do. So one thing it can do is it can append. So it means it can go ahead and it can add a new thing to my array. So I'm going to go nameslist.append. And then I want to say that it's going to add in my new name. I'll make some comments here saying add new name to the names list array, like so. So this is now going to append this list here. So now that I've done this part, I've added a new name to my array. I need to do this next part. Display the list in a scrollable text view. Now, within our array here, we have to use a for loop to be able to go through every single part of our array. So, at this point here, I'm going to go ahead and say for every name that is given in my names list. And then I want to do something with that code. So this is simply just going to go through every single name that I've got in my names list and let me do something within this name. So with this one here, I now need to work out what I want to do within my name. So what I could do at this point here, when I have my for loop, I'm going to go ahead and say for my scrollable text view dot string, I want to add on the value of a name. I'm also just going to change this quickly because I want to have a line break so they don't all get squashed up between each other. So I can say that I want to directly use the variable I've made here. I've gotten from this one here. And then I want to insert a line break after we do so. Like so. One thing I am going to do as well, as this is always stored, as my names list is always stored, being a global variable, even after the button's been finished, I will need to make sure that my stv names list is cleared before I keep printing to it here. So that way it doesn't just keep giving me duplicates. I'm going to make sure it's cleared first, and then I want to print all the names given. So I'm going to go ahead and run this now, and then we should be able to get all of our names listed in there as we add them there. So with this here now, I'm going to go ahead and I'll add the name Michael. I'm going to add this name, and then it's going to have this here. If I add another name, I might add John. That will be given here too. And then I can add Michelle. And this will all be given to the side here. Now, there's two things I want to do here as well. So I want to be able to look into how I can sort it. So it's going to go in alphabetical order. And I also want to look to see if there's a way that I'll be able to clear my array so I can get rid of everything in it. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add a new button that's going to clear everything. So let's go ahead and add this new button in now. Move this one out of the way. And then I want to have this one called clear. With my clear, I'll drag this in over here like so and call this btn clear. So this way, whenever I push that clear button, it's going to get rid of all the names in my list. So what I can also do is add this here. I'm going to say clear the array's contents and clear all of the inputs/outputs. So as we've used this names list.append, there's lots of other different methods and things we can do with our array by using this dot. So I'm going to go to names list. I'm going to put a dot here, and then I can look through and see there's so many things I can do. I can see what the first element is. I can see whether it's empty. There's lots of things I can check for here. The one I'm going to do is I want to go ahead and I want to clear everything within my array. So as you can see, there is certainly a lot of things here. The one I want is going to be remove all. So as you can go ahead and do things like remove at certain parts, I can just go to dot remove all. And this is going to get rid of everything within my array. So I'll make a comment here. Removes all objects. Actually, even better, I'll say that in names. Remove all names from the name array. Like so. And then I can go ahead and just make sure that everything else is cleared. So I'll use fcv.nameslist.string, make it blank, make my txt name dot string value equal blank here, like so. And I'll write a comment, make all inputs / outputs blank. I can double check here as well to make sure that within my comment it's given everything it's needed to. So clear the array contents, doing it here, perfect. Clear all of the inputs and outputs. Yep, it's doing it there. Perfect. Now, one thing I do want to do as well is whenever I add a new name here, before it's printed, I want them to be sorted in alphabetical order. So I can go ahead and I can say sort the array in alphabetical order. At this point, I can also have a look through to see what else my names list can do. So I'm going to go names list, use my trusty dot again, and there's a lot of things here we can use. So another really good one you can go ahead and use here is you can use dot sort, like so. And that's going to sort everything in alphabetical order. Two things I'm also going to do here as well is I just want to see how things are going through my console at the bottom when I run this. So I might just do a little print statement in the console, something that's only going to come up through the console that I'll be able to see. So I want to do two things here. I want to print my names list, and I also want to print how many things are in my names list. So I can go again using my dot at the end of my names list and go to count, and that will tell me how many things are in there. If I want to make it a little bit easier for myself, I can make a little message and I'm right there. And then say how many names are going to be in here. Names in the list. Now finally, when I run this now, let's have a look and see how it goes. So now, I'm going to go ahead and add the name Michael and add name. I can see that's here. If I go back over here, I can have a look at my console. And through this console at the bottom here, I can see that, yep, in my array, I can see that, oh, there's Michael there. Perfect. And I can see my little message I've written here for myself, saying that there are 1 names in the list. Perfect. Let's see if we add another one. I might write Jamie and add that name here. As you can see, Jamie's come before Michael, as Jamie is before Michael alphabetically. So it automatically sorted it for us, and now it's put it in there now. If I have a look over here, I can see that indeed Jamie and Michael has been added to my array, and that there are 2 names in the list now. I'm going to add another one. I'll write Adrian, add that name here, and again you can see that it's been put right to the top and put in order using my dot sort function. Again, and I can see that coming down here in my console from my print. Now, at this point here, I want to clear everything. So if I click on this clear button now, I can see that all this is gone. So I might just go ahead and add another name just to see what happens now. So if I add Michael back in here now, I can see that there's the only one here. And I can indeed see that it has been emptied, that Michael's the only one remaining now, and that there's only 1 name left in the list again.